Hey guys, how's it going? This is Vitamin ZK's
Zucco.
and ksizzle, and today we're going to crack the customs with Megaman. So let's start with Hyper Bomb. Bomb Man's weapon. Throw bombs in an arc that explode on contact with an opponent. So you can catch these bombs if I jump up. Got it right there. Now if I Z drop them, they explode immediately on contact. But if I were to just throw them on the ground, then they would have to bounce one time, as you can see right here.
Yeah. They do a weird downward arc.
Yeah,
like they basically don't even hit the ground. They're just leaving your hand.
Okay. But yeah, it is 8-way, so I can do some of those. This one's upward. This one's downward. This one's upright. This one's regular forward. And then the opposite is basically, and downward. Down forward.
Down's not that good on the ground, but I do like it in the air. It leaves like a trail. Like you run, you down throw it, and then like you're already past it, and then it kind of covers you. It's interesting.
And the shield damage is very average, so.
Alright, let me stand. Here?
Okay.
Yeah, here's good. Whatever.
Yeah, but it's not too good.
It's okay. It's actually not like too bad, but we're messing it up here. Let's just like confirm this real quick. Yeah, it's okay. The bomb will never explode in your hand, by the way.
Yeah, so if I catch it, well, let me, if I catch, what the hell? I'm doing up.
Do up.
Alright. Whoops. Alright, so this will never explode. I can hold it on forever, only if I let it go. So, unlike Link's bomb or any other characters that explode on for 3 seconds or something, this will be here forever. And then
yeah, so
whenever
it's not
I
really,
want,
it's
I can
just
let it go.
something you hold on to if you need it.
Yep. So, I think that's it for that one.
I guess the arcs are interesting. They're different than Metal Blade, but you're open for longer, and they cover weird arcs. They might not explode right away. It has to hit like something, you know. But yeah, I guess that's about it. So I'll go on to the Shadow Blade, which acts sort of like a boomerang. It hits twice, deals 2% each time. It is 8-directional, so you can use this in that way, similar to Metal Blade, but you can't catch it as an item, so you lose any item capability with this special. But you do gain things like combos, very slight combos, depending on how it hits. You won't always get it. It has to kind of like hit like that.
Yep.
If you do it too close, they're gonna break free of it, because they're not gonna be in any hits done.
Yeah.
So it's really specific, but if you get it, you do get some pretty good reward. The range on it isn't too great, as you see there. Yeah, I'm not too particularly fond of this move. I don't like trading off what Metal Blade gives me for this.
Yeah, Metal Blade's just amazing.
Metal Blade is super good. It just covers like everything you need. I guess the only bad thing about Metal Blade is that other people can catch it, so you have to be wary of that. At least they won't be able to catch this. They kind of just have to block it or attack it.
Yep.
So that if people are catching your Metal Blades, you can switch off to this, and it does provide a decent alternative. It's a little bit longer range, like it takes longer to start up, and the recovery is a little bit longer too, but not by a lot. It's very minor. But yeah, that about wraps it up.
Alright, then let's move on to the side specials. So I have the Ice Slasher, Iceman's weapon. Fire an ice projectile that will freeze enemies upon contact. That's basically it. The range is pretty poor. Moves really slow, and it does freeze enemies upon contact. Not like other ice, like Luigi's Ice Fireballs that you need to be like at 60. Pretty much does it from the start.
Yeah, you can break out of this really quickly.
Yeah.
Mega Man doesn't really get a chance to combo off of it. It is kind of stale. I don't know how ice properties work when moves are stale. But yeah, the range isn't very good. It does pierce through enemies, so if there were like 3 people right next to me, they would also get hit by it.
As you can see right there, like if he was right next to me, you see that it still keeps going. So anyone behind will also be affected. So probably better in doubles matches if the teammates are sticking to each other too long.
Right. And I have the Danger Wrap, which is considered to be one of Mega Man's best custom moves. It's a very little bubble with a bomb inside. It travels very vertically up. It might be a little hard to see like the range of it. Let me see if I can do it like down here. So it travels a pretty good distance, and on contact with an opponent, it does about 13% and like explodes. It is 13, 16, I think it's 13. Damage is good. The knockback is great, especially when you have rage.
Yeah.
The growth on it is very, very ridiculous. It's one of Mega Man's best kill moves. It's safer than most of his other stuff because you can just release it wherever you want and have it trail up. It can also explode on like stages. So if he was like hanging out at the lip, he might get hit by that.
Yeah, and I have seen this move like go through some stages too, like on the lip. Like I'd be here, and then it could be a pretty good surprise attack there. So
yeah,
very good.
The negative to this is that it has literally like no shield stun. So
look at that,
nothing. Like nothing. It's like nothing happens to your shield. So if you block this, you get a free punish pretty much, assuming they like do it right on top of you, which is actually decent because you can kind of like move around with it. One other thing that we didn't mention, a glitch with Ice Slasher and Danger Wrap, is that if you land and activate this move at the same frame, 2 of them will come out. I might not be able to replicate this right now.
It's literally 2. It's not like one is invisible. You will get hit by 2 different things, and it'll do a ton of damage and a ton of knockback.
Yeah, so it would do like 26% and double the knockback, but it's not the up. It's right there.
There it is. Yeah, you saw it. So
good on me.
Hopefully you guys saw that. You can just
rewind the tapes.
Rewind like a few seconds and see that there.
So if you got good at timing that, I mean that just doubles your strength. So it's insanely good, honestly. But we can move on.
Alright, cool. So we'll move on to the up specials. I had the Tornado Hold, which is Tengu Man's weapon. A tornado blowing fan sends you hurling skyward to damage enemies. So, definitely slower than the normal Rush Coil, but you are a constant hitbox on the way up because of the tornado. And it's not that you are the hitbox, it's that tornado thing. So look at under Mega Man's feet after I press down B, up B. You see that little spinning tornado thingy?
It's a hitbox that drops downward.
Yeah, so you can use that for edge guarding capabilities. Like right here, if they're coming down, that'll cover a hitbox.
If I'm like recovering down here, you could drop that on top of me.
Yeah, and then maybe like back air or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
you actually can combo off of it.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. It makes its on-stage game pretty good too. If you just do it out of shield, it's a little slow, but if you get out of there, it does leave a hitbox. Hits a few times, and if it does hit, it'll carry them up, allowing you to combo off of it. You do get you keep your double jump afterwards. Just all his uppies let him do that. So you get decent movement options, but the horizontal range of this move isn't very good. Yeah. Vertically, it's okay, but if you're trying to recover horizontally, which is one of Mega Man's like flaws, is that he gets edge guarded pretty well.
So that was me holding left the entire time. And
there's like one thing you can do if you jump earlier, like if you jump at that top, you can act out of it quicker than you can like move to the right or left.
What do you mean by jump at the top?
Like up B and then like mash jump and like hold right. Like you could do it quicker than that. It's weird. So you have to like act out of it. If you were just to hold to the right or left, you wouldn't have that distance, you know? Like yeah, it takes longer basically. So yeah, it's good on stage. Not great at recovering, but it is very interesting because it's the only up B that gives him an offensive up B.
And it's something an extra edge guarding tool aside from like the normal hard knuckle. And you have
I have Beat, which is basically if you played Brawl, Snake's up B. Now it probably goes farther than Snake's.
Yeah.
You keep your double jump as well. You don't have to travel like horizontally. You can just go straight up if you want. You have a lot of freedom during this, but you can't end it at any point until the end. So you're kind of just stuck here until like right there. So even though like I can move around a lot, if I'm getting too predictable, like I'm just gonna have to take it. Now I believe Beats, like body being there, actually kind of protects Mega Man a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely one thing I noticed. As a little mech main, my down smash hits below the lip, so I usually always time it to hit them when they recover. And I do get it a lot on Mega Man normally, but when it's when I fight against players who use Beat, I can never get it, and I know I'm timing it correctly. So I really want to assume that Beat just being up there with no hurtbox or hitbox at all is protecting Mega Man, because Mega Man's hurtbox is a little lower than it normally is, and he gets to snap onto the ledge easier. So that's a good thing.
It's interesting. I mean, could be wrong on that. Maybe we're just not timing it right, but it does seem a little harder to punish Mega Man's ledge grab.
So I mean, what kind of happened there?
Yeah, well, that move's okay. Going under,
especially with Battlefield.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Battlefield's a little weird with that. So yeah, it's a very good recovery. Doesn't have a hitbox, but neither does Rush. So the pro of Rush is that it's insanely fast. This one's slower, but you do get a lot more movement. I wouldn't say any of them are really straight up better. I think they're all pretty useful. Just depends on what you want.
Okay. And we'll move on to the final two, the down special. So I had the Skull Barrier, which is Skullman's weapon, a rotating barrier of skulls that reflects enemy projectiles. So that's the main sweetness of it. Any projectiles thrown at me while I have those skulls up will be reflected onto my opponent. Now, it doesn't have a constant hitbox around me. What it has is a very minimal win box, so you see them getting pushed a little bit. Though the hitbox will come out if I shoot those skulls at him. Now, this move comes out a little faster than the normal leaf shield, but the range is a lot more poor. Is that it?
Yeah.
With
Well,
it's slower. Or?
It ends quicker as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So if I keep the barrier around me, it'll end like that. As opposed to the leaf shield, probably would have stayed around for like half a second more.
Yeah.
So.
But this is a very good reflector, mainly because he can still move during it. A lot of characters are kind of restricted in their movement, but Mega Man just gets to kind of like run around for a little bit.
You're a walking projectile counter.
And
so.
You can grab during it, and if you have an item, you can throw it. So you actually have some offensive options while being able to reflect at the same time. So it's actually pretty interesting. I think it's a really good custom. Maybe the best reflector. Not sure on that.
It literally can change some matchups. If Mega Man is actually having problems with a character that has a really good keep away game with projectiles, you throw this on, that can literally change everything.
Yeah, like I don't like fighting Olimar, but having this custom would probably make that matchup really easy.
Yep.
Just because of how many projectiles he has, considering. But I have the Plant Barrier. It is a slower version of Leaf Shield. The pros of this is that it does a little more damage, and the leaves will not disappear when they hit. So you are always going to have 4. It also is a little bigger. It's like pulsating. So if you get like 2 pummels and a back throw, you're dealing like almost 20%, which is really good off of 1 grab. And you still get your grab on while you're holding it. You got your items, you got all that. But it's a little slower to start up, and the throw is pretty poor. It takes a little longer, and it travels nowhere. This custom is actually pretty good at like clipping below the ledge. I'm not sure if it'll hit Mega Man, but during some recoveries, like it goes below it, especially when it's like pulsating. So you can maybe clip people like that, or if you're trying to like edge guard, gimp them like that. It's pretty good. But it's pretty similar to the main one, just that it deals a little more damage. And it's a little bulkier, I guess is a good word. One little thing is that this will not jab block. The normal Leaf Shield had the property to jab block opponents, but this one will not. The leaves just don't have like the same property. They deal a little bit more hit stun, so they're not going to be able to do it. Can't really show it because I don't have the normal Leaf Shield on, but you can take my word for it. I've tried it, and that's kind of why I like the normal one over this. I don't think this is bad, and I do like the protection this gives over the normal one, but having the little bit more speed and the jab block properties and the throwing range kind of puts the normal one on top for me.
Yeah, very subtle differences between that and regular Leaf Shield. I feel like for the longest I would take a first look at both of them, like they're the same move. So it's good to know that there are some subtle differences there. And that covers everything. So, I mean, Mega Man definitely has a very big variety of good alternatives to his normal special moves.
They're all very different. Unlike most characters, they're like visually and like actively very different than the other customs.
Yeah.
As for like just to run them down, I think neither of the neutral Bs are as good as Metal Blade. I do think they're okay. I like Shadow Blade a little bit more than Hyper Bomb, just because it acts like a boomerang and it covers like that's always active, so it's back and forth. So you have to kind of respect it, unless you destroy it. But yeah, the Hyper Bomb, it's kind of slow, and well, that won't like break it because that has transcendent priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hyper Bomb, it travels too like slowly, and the arcs where you throw it aren't like good for protecting you. They're good for like running away, but not for like offense, which Metal Blade and Shadow Blade are better at, and you kind of need that. Mega Man doesn't have a lot of safe offensive pressure. Side Bs, Danger Wrap is definitely the best one. Ice Slasher is very poor. I don't think it's very good at all. It like travels nowhere. The freeze doesn't matter. Damage is bad. Danger Wrap just gives you another kill option. It travels a different like arc that none of his other projectiles do, and it's scary. You actually have to respect it. Now it does have its weaknesses. It has like no priority, so if you hit it, it'll just go away, and if you shield it, it also just goes away and doesn't damage their shield at all. But you know, between that and Ice Slasher, I have to give it to Danger Wrap, excuse me. Yeah, Crash Bomb is actually pretty good as a. I think it's cool because you can use them for different matchups. Like somebody who's big, it's better to kind of use the Crash Bomb because they're gonna be hit by it more. They're gonna have to shield it more. You're gonna be able to like keep them in place more. But if you need another kill move, then Danger Wrap is definitely the way to go. Up Bs, I couldn't really tell you to pick one or the other. I think they're all very solid. It just depends on how you play. If you're good at recovering, then honestly, you might want to use like the Tornado Hold so you can add some more offense to your game. And if you aren't able to recover with either of them, I think Beat would be a good way to always get back pretty safely. If you get hit, you can go all the way around the stage. I think you can go under the stage too. Yeah, you can easily go under the stage. So yeah, pick one you like. They're all pretty good, and they have their pros. Not many cons to them either. I think the one that has the most cons is the Tornado Hold, just because its recovery is pretty bad, but not like too bad. The vertical's good, the horizontal's bad.
Yep.
And the shields, I think Plant Bear is okay. It's mostly preference between that and Leaf Shield, and the Skull Barrier is very matchup dependent. So it basically just gives Mega Man more options to switch off when he's fighting characters like Olimar, Villager, anybody with like projectiles. And if they don't have a projectile, then you switch on one of the others and you're good to go. So he has a lot of coverage with it. Just like having those options. But yeah, I think that sums it up for me.
Alright then. Leave us a like, comment, subscribe, share the video around, and let us know what you thought. That was very in-depth. So we'll see you guys next time for the next video.
Yep, later.